19 months. Imagine sitting through 19 months of genocidal depravity, of the worst possible crimes that can be committed against humans. Babies being cooked alive and suffocated under rubble. Children being sniper-shotted in the head and the chest. Homes, libraries, mosques, churches, hospitals being wiped from the face of the earth. Over 1,000 medics liquidated. Intentional starvation. Men raped to death. The worst possible crime. Imagine sitting through all of that and taking 19 months to say anything. And that is what the shameless facilitators of this genocide in Downing Street have done. And they think that will wipe away their complicity, but it won't, because we have to say loud and clear, this ends with those people behind bars for facilitating genocide. And look what they say now. Listen to them. Oh, it's intolerable, they say. It's intolerable how they weep now as they still keep arming Israel and giving the crucial components for the F-35 jets to rain death and destruction. But let's be generous. That he did take a stand, because David Lammy got his deputy to give 𝐏𝐵𝐶𝐲, the Israeli ambassador, a dressing down. I'm sure they're quaking in their boots in Tel Aviv. The fact is, this is still platitudes and empty words and empty deeds. This government is still facilitating genocide, and we will not stop marching and protesting until they stop and we lock them up. But I want to say something. I want to say something else. Because we mentioned my esteemed colleagues in the British media, my esteemed, respected colleagues in the British media, I just want to say this to those, not those who actively still cheer on this genocide, who should just be considered depraved sociopaths. No, I'm talking about the people who still remain silent, apart from empty platitudes. What is going through your heads right now? I think you're becoming increasingly aware that this is one of the great crimes of our age, and maybe you just think you could vanish and disappear into the background and no one will notice what you failed to do. But let's be clear about the silent. Throughout history, every crime, every atrocity, every abomination was made possible by you. You are complicit in genocide because if you have power and influence, and your government is facilitating genocide, and you remain silent, you are complicit in that genocide. And do you know what? Maybe, let's get into their heads a bit. Let's get into their heads. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're scared they'll get smeared, and their platforms will be menaced, and their careers will be threatened. These aren't irrational fears. But do you know what? Palestinian journalists didn't want to stand up and have to document the genocide of their own people, and they risked their lives every single day to do so, and suffered the biggest extermination of journalists in human history. If they have the courage to stand up, what excuse do those in countries like this have not to stand up against genocide? There will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning. And that's what I'm going to end by saying. We are going to keep marching until every bomb, every component for those F-35 jets, we stop those sales and we impose total sanctions and turn Israel, a genocidal state, into a pariah state. We will keep marching. But we have to say this finally. We have to say this finally. There is going to be a reckoning. I say this because I think many of us think they'll get away with it. We remember Iraq. They got away with it that time. The politicians, the media commentators, the only people who had to resign, whose careers suffered, were the people who were criticising and opposing the Iraq war. And if there was a reckoning over Iraq, this catastrophe would never have been possible. This time has to be different. This time has to be different. We have to say, we have to believe that politicians will go to jail. We have to believe that the careers of journalists who cheered this on will end. Because if we don't believe that, If we don't believe that, then this crime will happen over and over and over again. A reckoning is coming, and we say directly to you, if you facilitated genocide, if you're complicit in genocide, you have committed the worst possible crime. Cowardice as well is always a sin in the face of injustice, in the face of genocide. It is a moral crime. A reckoning is coming, and we will end the careers of the complicit, and we will send politicians to jail, and this is the end. This is the reckoning for those who believe they can commit and be complicit in war crimes with impunity. Let's stand together, let's fight together. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.